Finally, we're on to the last tier list, and oh boy, these games, they weren't that bad actually. With enough being said, let's get started. Our first game is Blox Royale. All you have to do in this game is really just spam all your troops down, and whenever you get enough elixir, you just keep placing. So I'll put this game in enjoyable. You really don't have to do much, and just watching the troops annihilate all the enemies is just satisfying. Next up, we have Car Crushers 2. In this game, you need to grind enough in order to get this one vehicle. It costs around 40,000. Then you have to use whatever you bought from the scraps, which is some plow thing, and then kill people with it in the derby. This game's going in annoying just because you have to grind, and people don't like grinding in event games. I personally don't either. Plus, it's just kind of tedious. Obby Run is kind of like a simple obby game. It kind of has a low rating for some reason. I think you have to pick up 20 shards, and they're located around the map, and each round the map is quite linear, so you know where to go. So I'm putting this game in enjoyable. Plus it's an obby, you know. Next we have Power Simulator 2. In this game you have to grind a whole lot, and because of that, obviously I'm going to put this game in trash tier. This game literally took an hour for me. I mean, it just took too long. You just have to grind for so much. Also, the map is extremely confusing, and the quest points towards your main one, not the side one. Next up, we have Ragdoll Mania. In this game, you had to do 3 tasks. They were really easy, so I'm going to put this game in enjoyable. This game, it wasn't that hard. Plus, the gameplay, it kind of felt really smooth, and I liked it. It was mostly bug-free as well. Now for Ratty. This game by itself is really bad. It has a really low rating. But the thing is, its event is otherwise good. So I'm putting this game in enjoyable. Now, the event, it leads you to a different area, and you have to do several things. They're really straightforward, and then at the end, there's a boss fight. And this one's quite interesting. It's kind of like one of those Mario style ones, where you have to do certain things in order to lower the boss's health rather than attack it directly. Next up, we have Tower Defense Simulator. This game is known for delaying its updates, and of course it delayed the Metaverse one. Other than that, this game is fairly enjoyable, so I'll put it there. And for the event, what you had to do is defeat all the waves on a certain map. So you also don't get to choose your tower. So you get the scout and some other towers like the minigunner. And with some common sense, you can do this really easily. And if you have golden scout, then it becomes a joke. Next we have Treasure Quest. In this game, you just need to get a huge party and then defeat the monolith. The thing is, you only have 3 lives, so that's why I'm saying you need a party, or you need someone who has progress who can carry you. And I didn't have progress, so I had to actually try for this one, but I managed to defeat it. I'll just put this game in enjoyable though. It's not that hard after all. Next up we have Unboxing Simulator. In this game, you have to open 100 boxes. Now, this would be really hard, except I found a glitch where you can skip the cooldown for your weapon. So you can skip the cooldown, keep spamming this, and it becomes really easy to open boxes. And still, I'm just going to put this game in slow. If you didn't figure out this glitch, then it would take quite a bit of time. Plus, of course, it's grinding. Next up, we have War Simulator. In this game, you have to kill 15 of these slightly rarer mobs. So these ones are more tanky than the default ones, but overall this game is still somewhat easy, so I'm going to put this game in enjoyable. Now, it looks like there's a lot of games in enjoyable, but there's going to be a lot of worse ones out there, so keep that in mind. Next up, we have Zombie Task Force. This game actually released its event 1 week early, and I did it on week 3 instead of week 4. So in this game, you have to complete 2 maps. And it's really straightforward. You just kill the zombies, kind of like SCP roleplay, except this game has a few bugs, but other than that, I'm putting this in enjoyable. Yeah, there's a lot of enjoyable games for AJ this week. Your boy AJ got all the good games now, finally. Now we're on to Faye. Our first game is Bean Blast. You have to pick up 3 shards and then turn them back into Faye, I think. And then you get teleported to a different area where do this obby, and then you get the badge. So I'm gonna put this game in enjoyable. I like obbies, but the thing is, getting the shards wasn't that great. Next up we have Bloxy War, and oh boy, this game, it first looks kind of cool, but then its event requires you to do some interesting stuff. So the task that it requires you to do is pick up 10 egg pieces that spawn on the map. So they spawn in groups of 2 and only around 2 to 3 pairs spawn per round. So you'll need quite a lot of rounds, plus it's competitive, which means if you get it, then other people can't get it. And if other people get it, then you can't get it. So I don't like competition events. I'm putting this game in annoying. Now we have Dragon Adventures. In this game, you had to complete a few quests, and then it was really straightforward. I like that. I'm gonna put this game in average. There wasn't that much of a big takeaway from it, but it did have good mechanics. Next up, we have Firefighters. In this game, you have to put out a few purple fires, so that isn't that hard to do in this game, so I'm putting it in average, and it's kind of repetitive, so I can't really put anything above that. Now we have Ghost Simulator. You have to do another quest line, and oh boy, I hate these games that just make you grind. Like, these quests are extremely slow, plus you have a boss fight at the end. Well, it's kind of like a dungeon. You have to clear a few rooms first, and then it's the boss fight, which can take maybe 10 to 15 minutes. But still, this game's going in annoying. The quest part is the more annoying part of it. Next up, we have Guesty, and of course, Piggy ripoff. So this game is extremely confusing. Well, first off, it has a ton of fog, and I don't like fog. I like to be able to see what I'm dealing with, so I have to put this game in annoying. Plus, you really don't know where to go. Like, these type of piggy games are just really annoying. Next, we have My Skate Park, and this is one of those games that requires you to pick up a few items around the map. And what I don't like about this is that a lot of these require you to use a guide. Luckily, I didn't need one, but still, it was just generally kind of confusing, and it was kind of a walking simulator, so I'm putting this game in slow. Next, we have RB Battles. In this game, you have to pick up 2 coal eggs. There's 1 coal egg guaranteed on each game mode, so every round you have an opportunity to get one. And then that's the first part only. You turn them into fate and then you go into the next area. You can actually get multiple people to go there, so me and Fake did this together. And then the second area is kind of like a dungeon. You have to do specific tasks on each one. Some of them were puzzles, but overall it was really enjoyable, so I'm going to put this game in the POG tier. Now in RoCitizens, which is our next game, you have to either arrest 3 criminals, or as a criminal, you paint 5 spots around the map. I'm pretty sure those numbers are off, but whatever. I personally didn't like playing this game, but I'm going to put it in average because it just didn't take that long. Otherwise, I would definitely have put it in something lower. Next, we have Speedrun Simulator, and it's a freebie, so I cannot really put it in enjoyable. Like, you can't really enjoy a freebie. It's just like kind of a thing, so I have to put it in average. Next, we have Clown Killing Reborn. So this game literally took basically an hour for me, but I can't yet put it in trash just because the only factor is RNG. Otherwise, the tasks are quite easy. This game would literally be like in between annoying and trash, but I'm just gonna put it in annoying. Now we're on to Sparks. Next we have Bloxy Bingo. This game is an AFK simulator, so what I mean by that is you have to fill up your board, which has, I don't know, it's like 18 spots. You have to get all these 18 unique numbers called. And in order to do that, you pretty much have to AFK for at least 30 minutes. So this game's going in annoying. Now we have Bloxymon. What you do for this game is you do a quest line from Sparks. Then you have to do some stuff. You have to fight Sparks' Bloxymon, I guess. And in order to do this with the starter pet, it's really hard, but I did it on my first try. You just have to get as many of your abilities in, and you can barely fit your last one. So this game's going in average. It's definitely not enjoyable, plus the game's slightly laggy. Next up, we have Burger Bay. This game's pretty much modernized work at a pizza place. The graphics are pretty good, but for the event, what you had to do was you had to do 10 of each task, basically, like work as a cashier, be a cook, be a supplier, delivery, and inside the restaurant you serve. So this game can still take kind of long, but generally it's enjoyable. Next we have Destined to Fail. This was, as you can see by the game icon, this was a game jam game from 2019, which means they made this game in like one day. So I'm gonna put this game in enjoyable. It's really short. The game is literally like 5 minutes long, but I kind of like it. Oh boy, find the square. This is our next game. This game is literally so annoying. It literally just makes you do the same thing over and over again, and the game is generally slow paced. So the rounds are super long. What you have to do is reach round 25 on any game mode, but there's really only like 2 game modes where you can actually reach that far. Simon Says and Find the Square. And especially because it's Simon Says and you do the same thing over and over again, it's really easy to mess up and fall, and then you have to do another round, and that's just really annoying. So that's where I'm putting it. Next we have Incognito. Personally, I think this game was kind of cool, but at the same time it was really confusing. But I'm gonna put this game in average. What you had to do for the event was find 4 pieces around the map, and I think I got those on the same round, so that just shows how easy this event was. Next we have Superpower Fighting Simulator. Of course, another superpower game. It's kind of embarrassing whenever there's 2 types of the same game in the event. But other than that, this game only required you to complete a few easy quests from Sparks. So I can put in average. It definitely wasn't enjoyable. Next we have Super Striker League. And what I can say is that this game was in many other events in the past, such as RB battles, but anyway, this game is average. What you had to do was win a round, and of course that's just a game. I can't put it in enjoyable. Next we have Teddi. Okay, so first of all, this game literally requires you to grind the entire game. So you have to reach the end of the entire game, which takes at least 30 minutes. So I'm putting this game in trash. Plus the thing is, unlike Bloxy Bingo, you can't AFK it. Now we have the day the Noobs took over too. This game is going in POG tier. The reason why this is because it's kind of like a story game. It's really straightforward. Plus it has some interesting boss fights and some decent obbies as well. It's really easy to understand just because the objective on the bottom is always there and it tells you where to go. Now we have Travel to Unicorn Island. This is kind of like the other unicorn game from week 3 or week 2, I'm not sure. But this game is going in slow. You literally have to complete the entire game. It's like the game was made for this event. Other than being an obby, there's really not much else to it. Now we're on to Ren, and what I can say is that Ren, as you can see on this tier list, we have slots in the lower categories. So Ren is going to have some pretty bad games, but it also has some more enjoyables though. First up, we have 2-player Evolution Tycoon. When I joined this, I first did some unnecessary things, but really all you had to do for this game was talk to Ren and then pick up 5 fruits and then you're done. So this game's going average. It's really not enjoyable. But I mean, it's fast. Also, it's FPS. Oh, this is questionable. Next up, we have Egg Farm Simulator. This is like those clicker mobile games where you have to defeat like 10 mobs on this stage, and then every 5 levels there's like a boss. But for the event, what you had to do was defeat this chicken or deal a good chunk of its damage, but then you actually have to kill it. So this game really took a long time, plus the rocket that leads you there only fires every 15 minutes. So this game could almost be in trash, but it's not yet to the point. Next up we have Gods of Glory. In this game, you had to kill several of these red guys, and generally it was really easy, and I kind of like playing it, so I'm putting it enjoyable. Now we have Island Tribes, and in this game you had to use the net, and then you had to catch like a spirit, I think. And what I really don't like about this is that the spirit can spawn literally anywhere, and of course it's RNG. That's why I'm putting this game in slow tier. Next we have Jump Over the Wall. So this game really depends on other people. So in this game, you stack on other people's heads in order to get to the next section, and then there's a button that you stand on that will make the wall uncollidable. So you can just go through it. But just because it's dependent on players, I'm gonna put this game in slow tier. But whenever I did it, people were extremely cooperative, and there were just people that stayed there just to let other people get the badge. Next up, we have the Labyrinth. Oh boy, this game is another one of those that requires you to grind. I think you had to level up to like 5 or so, but in order to do that, you have to do several quests, and one of them required you to wait 15 minutes, but otherwise you had to do some other stuff that would also be grindy. So I'm putting this game in slow. Next up, we have Pet Tycoon. In this game, you have to get 6 pets, maybe. I'm not sure, but the layout of this game is quite interesting. You just use a computer to upgrade instead of stepping on stuff. Otherwise, this game was not the best, but I'm still gonna put it enjoyable. The boss fight was really fast though, and it was just generally really simple. Next, we have Ronald. Oh my god, it's another Piggy ripoff. How many Piggy ripoffs are there in this event? Leave a comment down below if you actually counted up all of them. Ronald is quite known for having pretty simple events. I guess it's kind of easy compared to Piggy, but that's generally why I'm putting this in enjoyable. The maps are really easy to read, plus if you have some good communication like me and Fake, then you can really do this quite fast. Next up we have Westbound. Now you might be asking me, why is there a purple border? Well, I don't know. They must have thought they were going on Faye for some reason, but this is Ren. So in Westbound, you had to rob the train, and the map shows you where you are and where the train is, so that's easy. But the thing is, there is PvP in this game, so if you get really unlucky and there's some sweat just spam killing you, then good luck, I guess. But anyways, I'm putting this game in slow. You can grief people, and there are also cops. Next and finally, we have whatever floats your boat. In this game, you have to survive an entire round inside of the ring. At least people in my server were friendly. I'm not sure about other servers, but at least mine was good. I'm going to put this game in average. It was quite easy if you have people that don't like fighting and grinding the main game, but you might get unlucky and this could take longer than necessary. Well, that's going to be it for all 4 of these tier lists. I'm so glad to be over with all of this. It's been quite stressful to grind all 180 of these games. Plus, there's been a lot of drama through all of this as well. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe and like the video. Just do it. You know you watched to the end. And also, join the Discord server if you want. Also, comment down below, of course, what you thought the entire Metaverse Champions event was like.